So as we continue this Build a Nation series, we have now just completed the 2047 season. So come with me, let's recap how that league campaign and the cup campaign has gone with Lillestrøm in our second full season as manager. It's going to be 2.5 seasons now we've been here. And when you look at our squad, our club, our team, our journey, as I adjust the microphone, it's been a fun one. It's been a fun one. Let's head over and see how this season has gone. So because we had actually completed the first half of the season when we last recapped, let's have a look at our summer transfers, etc. See what changes were made to this club, to the squad. So our ins are very simple. There was only one in during the summer, and it was Carlos Henrique, who came in on the last day of the transfer window. And he cost us £40,000. And he's not a world beater with only 3 jump and reach, 5 concentration. So he's going to get distracted by birds and he can't jump off the ground. But long term, I think he could be a very good player, at least for our B team, if not potentially just one who we do turn a very nice, handsome profit with. Now, in terms of the outs, we had a few. So first off, Gustavo Ortega went to Copenhagen for 425k, with the sole idea of getting that 6.25k off our wage bill. Kroc went to Hacker. They are going to pay all of his wages. He wasn't on a high wage, but he only picked up 1 goal in 16 and wasn't in and around our first team. Kroc then ended up signing for Hacker at the end of the season for 1.3 million. So he went on loan for half a season. Then we ended up selling for 1.3 million. Not bad considering we picked him up on a free transfer. So God be pleased with that. The sad one is Albert Ferry, our young European boy, has left us. So he played 52 games for us. We paid 100k for him from Zambia, and we sold him for 10.5 million, rising to 16.25. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on to your players. The board sold him. The board sold him. We didn't want to let him go, but the board came in and said that's money we can't turn down. So we're going to look back from the Viking game because we had played through the first half of the season on the last episode's recap. So we played Viking, Valerenga, Sogndal and Odds in the month of July, picking up victories in all of them games before we then came up against Stjørdals Blink, Eggersons, Frigg and Shelsas and got victories again. And at this point we are looking like a very, very solid team. And Bøder Glimt a draw before victories over HamKam, Bram and Åsane, before defeat away to title challenger Molde before victory over Stabæk. And we ended November with 2 draws and 1 defeat against Viking. And we looked like we were struggling in them last games. Fortunately for us, it did not matter as we lifted the top flight title and we won our first title since 1989, and we have continued that dominance as a manager in Norway. After leaving Eggersons, winning their last title in 2044, we have now picked up a title for Lillestrøm and we look very, very solid. And actually, I did wonder there, if we go to our Hall of Fame and we go to the nation, we are now second. We have 1,535 points domestically, 12 league titles, 6 domestic cups. That was a spoiler because we did also claim the cup, so we won the domestic double. You can see Elverum 4-0 before an extra time victory over Bryne, an extra time victory over Traff, and then a 2-0 over Junker, and we were playing a very heavily rotated side in these games. We then came up against Odds where we started to look at putting out some more stronger players. We then beat Eggersons on penalties in the semi-finals before a comfortable 4-1 victory over Valerenga in the final with a Hagelin hat-trick, who again has had a very good season for us. Didn't bang in as many in the league, but all in all, I have to say I'm really, really pleased. 22 years old now, still not capped by Sweden, which shocks me actually, with 39 and 57 domestically for Lillestrøm. He has been a really, really good player. You can see in the Europa League as well, 3 goals in 4. He really does deserve to be called up. And if we're going goal scoring rating compared to other people, in the Elite 5 leagues. Headers 1, 3.14. Average is 2.76. Elite is 5.08. Dribbles per 90, 0.82. So he is below poor, above poor but below average. XG, excluding penalties, 0.38, which is above average. Shots on target per 90, 1.67 is above elite. And a conversion rate of 21% is on average. So he is I would say, above average, but below elite for the elite Big Five. But that's still quite good when you say the Big Five leagues, so Premier League, etc., he would hold his own. It's not saying he's poor in the Premier League. He's saying he's above average for Premier League, Serie A, League One, Bundesliga, La Liga. So he's a good striker, 100%. So looking at the domestic double and looking at our team then, our top goal scorer for the season was Hagelin with 24 in all competitions. Then it was Gutelsrod with 11, Maui with 10, Yanni with 6, and then Hansen with 4. In terms of assists, top assist was Yanni with 11. Maui picked up 10 as well, double figures for both, and Gutelsrod on 7. So Maui had a really successful first season with us, and he's just a very, very good player. And if we go to the information side, you can see he's just over 1 year away from being able to gain Norwegian nationality. And if he agrees to take it, I would like to secure him full time. You can see we do have an optional future fee of 3 million. And I think 3 million for him would be insane money well spent. 100% on that. Really, really pleased with how he's looking. I think the next person to look at is Nehemiah, who is joining us permanently in the winter window. You can see here, if we go to contract, he is going to be joining us on 31st of the 12th. We go transfers, join us for 3.9 million. Now, he's been capped 8 times by Norway now. He's only 19, came through the academy at Egerton, played 19 games in his 2 years for me. 1 year later, I brought him into Lillestrøm. He's now played 54 games for us at Lillestrøm. And age only 19, I just see him going better and better and better. I'm absolutely delighted to bring him in. Our tactic has evolved into almost the Egerson's tactic. We've ended up playing narrow after Fury left us to Bayern Munich for that 10.25 up front. Yanni and Gutelsrud either side of a injured Maui who didn't play the last game, but that front three is absolutely superb with Hagelin in front of them, and Nehemiah and Arneson, who we did have both at Egerton as our ball-winning midfielder players. Again, it's just absolutely fantastic. Then our back line of Horgerson, Keita doesn't normally play in there. Anderson was suspended for the last couple of games, but Anderson, who's played 43 times now and he's only just turned 17, is an absolute insane left wing back. They have Horgerud, Anderson, and they have academy player Sunder in the back line alongside Hansen, who we obviously picked up on a free transfer from Nottingham Forest. He has just been crowned Young Player of the Year as well. So again, picked up on a free transfer, now picking up Young Player of the Year in Norway. I've got to say, this team is looking very, very good. We have 1, 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9, we have 9, 10. We have 10 players in this squad currently who were with us at Egerson's. Now, is that due to us just raping them of all their players? No, it is not what we did. It is the fact that, in my opinion, Football Manager shows how broken this seems to be. It doesn't show because the next game's in Europe. Shows how broken it seems to be with the fact that all of their players that are Norwegian, they just weren't using. They were just signing foreign player after foreign player. But we've took that into account. We've really built a good side. Now, in terms of the rest of the league, before we looked at our B team and youth teams, Rosenborg and Stjørdals Blink went down. So considering going to Rosenborg and building them back up into a powerhouse of Norwegian football. In terms of the B team, going up is Ulkis and Shield. Going down is Strømsgodset, down to the 3rd tier of Norwegian football. Strømsgodset are a big side in Norway. Them going down to the 3rd tier is just it just shouldn't be happening. It just should not be happening. Stromsgård said Asker and Ålesund going back down as well. Another former top flight side, a big stadium going down to the third tier. Now, in terms of the third tier, you will see our B team in here. So Bryne go up as champions with Bratvoll going down as Stabæk's B team, Moss and Kristiansund. For the second division, going up is Fleury. We finished in second place in this division. Going down was Bjørn, Mjølner and Ålesund. So if we go to our B team, finishing in second place, we had a really successful B team. I've got to give a couple of mentions here to the likes of Odovicic, who we picked up on a free transfer from Whitecaps. He now has 10 and 32 for our B team. I am considering letting him go over the winter period, just financially. Picked him up on a free. He's not a prolific goal scorer, and we do have Simon Borg, who has been playing for our B team, but coming into the age of 19, is going to move up into our B team next year. So maybe Udovicic can move on, to be honest with you. We can cash in on him. Fullstad, I've got to give a mention to, came up and played some games for our first team this year. 17 years old, a decent player. We are featuring him in that attacking midfield. Strata, Anderson is retiring, has been a stalwart for our B team last couple of years. Really has been helping the B team out, but he is retiring, so we do wish him well. Also, I do want to mention Villard, who has signed a new deal, which will kick in at the end of the year. He's a decent B team player, so I have agreed to keep him on. And Grosso, one of the first signings we brought in, hasn't developed how I would have hoped, but is a very good B team player. So even though we paid 450k for him, I'm just going to keep him playing our B team for a few more years. You never know. He could turn into a late developer where some of these attributes push up a little bit more and he becomes solid for the first team. Fofana's going to continue in at our B team as well. 210k this season. 6 goals in 20 games, only 1 assist. But now we've switched to that more attacking midfield 3, which we only brought in the second half of the season. Maybe he'll feature more, and we can keep an eye on him. In terms of our under-19s, finished in 8th, right in the middle, but our under-19s were so short of people when we took over. I think they need a couple of years to build up the depth in that squad. But Simon Borg did finish top goal scorer in the under-19 league. The only thing that puts me off using him at all is his work rate and teamwork. He doesn't suit what we need, which is hard-working people up top. But coming through the academy, he could end up being a decent player for our B team if he continues. Stromsgodset had a really bad year. For the first team getting relegated to the third tier, and now also the under-19s going down with only 8 points. Very bad time for them. They're the time, them and Tromsø, teams like that who've been relegated, you just kind of think, maybe we should venture off and actually take them back up as well. It's one of them ones which does tickle on me a little bit. So our stadium is something to mention as well. We have 11,468 capacity. If we go on to the facilities, you can see we are currently expanded by 2,747 seats. It wasn't an all-seater. I do think this means it's going to become an all-seater stadium, which is nice. It is nice. All-seater stadium means a couple of thousand more seats sold in Europe. So that's something to keep an eye on. In the next video, we'll recap our European campaign, but it has gone fairly well so far this season. Financially, we have 18 million in the bank, mainly down to the fact that we had that huge sale of Fury, but he has funded us in terms of main things now. So in terms of how we're looking, salary per annum, Egerson have gone up even more. They spend 88 million now a year. We are spending 3.6 million, and we won the league. We won the league, and we've got the 10th highest spend. In terms of transfer spend, we made 13.7 million this year. Egerson spent 57 million. I am curious. So they signed this guy, who is Belgian. They signed this guy, who is from Netherlands. They signed a free transfer, a central defender, okay. 16 years old from Tromsø. They actually signed. I'm going to scout him. I'm curious if he's actually going to be quite decent. They signed a Spanish goalkeeper. They signed a Portuguese left back. And that's it for the summer. So, one Norwegian. And he's 16 years old. How is this team going to develop? going forward with so many foreign players in. Domestically, they just can't do it. And I think that was shown by the fact that they end up finishing 5th and just scraping in to Europe for next season. We're going to be joined with Molde, Berdeglimt, Beacon and Egerson. I feel like the AI is so broken. I honestly don't see how we can overtake Portugal, the Netherlands, France, etc. Because teams who do well in Europe are just then going to struggle so much domestically because they don't have the players that they end up then missing out on Europe. Odds are a prime example. They were in Europe for a few years. We go back to the division and go back to stages. But there you can see. So Odds won the league, came second. Then they weren't in. So they had a few years of getting up there. But then now they've just filled with so many foreign players that they're not featuring in Europe anymore because domestically they can't compete because they have no domestic players. I don't know how this story, this journey is going to pan out. But this build a nation, I think, is almost going to become impossible just because of the amount of mistakes the AI is making. I've been Paul, also known as Northman. I'll see you as we recap the 47-48 European campaign.